Hey guys, how's it going? This is Dilmer again and welcome back to my channel. So first of all, thank you very much for watching the channel. I really appreciate your time. I had a lot of fun creating videos in the past and I'm having a lot of fun right now creating new videos. So today I want to talk about how would you actually go about creating an application that actually runs on macOS. And this is going to be very specific for Unity creators that want to get their games not only on iOS, not only on Android, but now also on macOS. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through creating a certificate, creating a provisioning profile. Once you have that done, I'm going to show you a script that I wrote, which I'm going to be sharing with you by the end of this video. And that it's going to allow you to sign your game and getting it ready for the Mac App Store. So by the end of this video, we're going to upload a game that I created. You're going to be able to see the whole process from the beginning to the end. So you should be able to do it on your own. And if you have any other questions, as we work on these, let me know because I'm always willing to help you with anything that you have, any comments that you might have. So let's jump into Unity and start going through that process. All right, guys, so here we are in Unity and I have my game Cubix open. If you notice, this is the build that I'm going to be pushing to the Mac App Store. So I have my multiple scenes right now. I have a game, which is for iOS. I have a game Mac, and I also have one for tvOS. The export platform is set to Mac OS, so you want to make sure that you have that set. If you don't have that set, just make sure you select it and then just switch to that platform. So the other thing that I want to show you, actually go back into build settings and then player settings. Once you are looking at player setting, one thing that I always do to make sure that the game is running fine, other than just hitting play and watching the game play, which is what I'm going to show you now. So we can see that the game works, everything works. I can hit play, I can go into a level, and I can beat a level. So that's great, and that works in Unity, but we want to make sure that it also works in the Mac. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to where it says Mac App Store Options, and you only want to disable these only if you want to do just an export that is not going to go to the App Store. So in my case, I want to test it before we upload it to the App Store, so let's uncheck it. The other thing that I'll do is just do build settings, and we'll do a build, and then we'll select basically a target location where we want it. I'm going to put it in my desktop, so let's just click on this button to expand it, and then desktop. We've got a new folder here called Cubix Builds. And we'll just call this one Cubix, and then just hit save. And this is going to take some time, so while that is running, I'm going to go into Google Chrome, and we're going to start looking at the certificate process. So right now, I am showing you my dashboard where I have my game. If I go to the App Store here, you can see, this game is information in here, the name of the game, you can see the category, you can see the pricing of the game. I can also see the version that it's available in the macOS App Store. So if you click on this, you can see the version 1.0.5 is ready for sale. So that's all great. Now if you go into the activity, you can see that I've been building and uploading multiple builds. So all of that is great. So what I want to do today is I want to upload version 1.0.6. and I want to start at build number 1.00. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the Mac App Store, into the App Store tab, and then click on version, macOS, and we're going to be uploading version 1.0.6, and then just hit create. Excellent, so we're ready to upload a new version of the Mac app, and the other thing that I'll do here, I'll just say we upgraded underline game engine, perfect, and I can just say upgraded version of the game engine. We can say that and then hit save. And the other thing that I want to do, I also have these basically translated to localized to multiple languages. I'm not going to worry about that for now. I'll do that later when I'm done with this video. Then if I scroll down, you can see that I can select a build, but I can't select one because we haven't uploaded one. We'll do that in a minute. And then everything else seems to be okay. So I always check everything just to make sure that everything looks fine, keep existing rating. So I like how everything looks. And then the other thing that I do is I look at the activity, and like I said, make sure that you're starting from, from a new version, and it depends on, where you are in your process. So looks like it's still building. So the next piece that I want to look at is certificates. So to do certificates, there's a couple of things that you need to do. You want to, if you are licensed as a developer for Apple, you might have iOS, tvOS, watchOS, and also macOS. So if you don't have these, that means that you haven't really paid for the license yet. So you'll need to enroll in their development program. And once you pay for the license, you should see these links. I'm going to put the link to these to the developer.apple.com in the description of this video with some of the steps as well, so don't worry about getting those down. So the next thing that I want to do, we're working on a macOS app, so I need to determine what I'm going to be creating. So I need to create a certificate, and a certificate is basically a protection that Apple is trusting you to be the creator of the game. So it's basically a security layer that Apple adds, so make sure that people don't basically clone and steal your code. So if you go under Mac development, that means that if you want to do development, you'll select that option. If you want to do an Apple push notification SSL, you'll do that option. So what we want to do today is we basically want to upload the game to the Mac App Store, so we'll select that option. Excellent. And then the next thing that you'll do is you say continue, and these are two different options that you'll have if you want to do a Mac app distribution, which means that you're going to create a certificate so that you can submit it to the Mac App Store. Or if you simply want to have a Mac installer distribution, you can do that as well. We're going to select Mac app distribution, hit continue. So then the next thing that you'll need to do, you'll need to open the keychain, and we're going to click on it. So I did Command space to open the keychain. It'll tell you here what you need to do. So within the key change access dropdown, select the key change access certificate assistant. So we'll do that. And then certificate assistant, request a certificate from a certificate authority. We're going to click on that, and we're going to change the email. So this is going to be the email that your company or the one that you use for your development program. So I use info@dilmergames.com. And then I'm going to leave everything the same, and then I'm going to select save to the disk. And it's going to open a prompt here, and I'll basically just select the desktop and then hit save. So it's going to create a file in the desktop for us, and then click done, and we can close out of the key change. Perfect. Now hit continue, and then we're going to choose our file, which is the one that we just created. Let's go into the desktop, and I'm going to select my certificate, hit open, then hit continue. And we're going to click on download to download the cert, open it up, and it's going to allow us to install it in our Macs. Let's give it a second here. I'm going to click on done. You can see that I have a certificate now called Mac App Distribution. And you can also see it in here, third-party Mac developer application, Dilmer Alicillo. So that's great. We have it all down. So the other thing that I'm going to show you is a couple of things that you need to have before we sign this game. So if I go into Visual Studio Code, I'm going to show you a script that I'm going to be providing to you that is going to help you with the signing on of your game. So let me actually go into this other window. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to give you a folder called Mac Utilities, and that's going to be available through GitHub. And in there, you're going to have a couple of files. You're going to have entitlement, which is what you're going to use to basically entitle your game. You're going to tell Apple what different features your game is going to have. And Apple requires that you have this. So if you're using the Game Center like I'm using, I'm adding an entitlement of com.apple, the developer, the Game Center. And then the same thing, you need to add this one. This one for sure is a requirement. Then the other thing that we're going to do is once we create a profile, we're going to download a provisioning profile. We'll do that in just a second. And then the other thing that I use is the info.plist because I don't want to have to retype this every time. So we'll do that as well. I'll show you what this does. And then the signing of the game. So these are just few things that you're going to need as we need to sign the game. Everything that we have in here is right now I don't have parameters set, variables set for anything that anything that you pass in. So by the time that you get this script, you're going to have basically a variable, a parameter that you're going to pass in through the command line, which is going to replace basically the name of the app. So because you really wouldn't have your name Cubics in your game, so you have basically your app name, and then everything else should be the same except for the certificate name. I'm going to have another variable for that as well. So let's go back into the portal, and we have to do one more thing. So we downloaded the Mac app distribution, and by this time you should have it installed on your keychain because you double click it to open it. Then the other thing that we're going to need a provisioning profile. So to do that, you're going to have to create a new Mac provisioning profile, and to do that you can just click on the plus symbol. So and notice that I'm on distribution. If you're doing development, you can do the same thing. You basically click on the plus symbol to do development. I'm going to go distribution because we're going to be going to the Mac App Store directly. I already created one for this, but I'm going to walk you through creating a new one so that you know. So we're going to be doing basically the Mac App Store selection. So what type of provisioning profile do you need? So you're going to create the Mac App Store one. We're going to click on Next, and this is going to ask you for your app ID. So we're going to select basically our app ID, which is going to be Cubics in our case. If you haven't created an app ID yet, you'll need to create an app ID under identifiers. I'll show you that so that you know how to do that as well. Then we're going to hit Next, and then I'm going to select the Mac App Distribution, which is a certificate that we created that expires in 2020. We're going to hit Next, and this is going to be Cubics Mac Distribution. And basically you hit Continue, and it'll download it for you. I'm not going to do that because I already have one. So what I'll do instead is go back to Distribution, and we're going to just pretend that this is the one that we created. I'm going to edit it because I need to give it the new certificate. And then we're going to click on Generate. So this is what you'll see on the previous screen if I were to hit Submit. Then you're going to click on Download, and we're going to click it to install it in our Macs. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that certificate, and I'm going to put it in the same directory where we have our game. So I'm going to go to Code, Games, and Cubics. Let's click on this so that it goes away. Oh, actually, this is to install it. So click on Install, and this is going to be my password to install the cert. And that's okay. I don't need to install it because I'm actually going to use the script to sign it. And then we're going to go into Mac Utilities. So this is the folder that I'm going to give you as part of the GitHub repository. So copy and paste the provisioning profile to that location. And if you notice, I have already an embedded provisioning profile. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this name, and I'm basically going to delete this one. Delete it. And we can use the menu here, move to trash. And I'm going to rename this one. Perfect. So this is our new one. You can see that I created it today. I also have my entitlements, and I have an info and a sign game. So that's perfect. Let's go back into Visual Studio Code, and I want to go into the info.plist, and this is where we're going to be setting the new version of our game. So I'm basically going to be pushing version 1.0.6. If you go back to the App Store, and let's go back into the App Store, you can see that that's the version that I'm going to be uploading. So I'm going to replace that. Then the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this value as well, also the bundle version, and everything else should be just fine. Perfect. And the sign game, it should stay the same for me because I already have a certificate under, basically a certificate that is named that. And for you, you might have to change this. If if your name is John Doe, you'll need to put John Doe or whatever it is that you name it when you created the certificate, and everything else should be just fine. Let me just scroll to the right. Okay, perfect. So that looks good. And the info plist looks good. The provisioning profile is something that I can't read, so I'm not going to worry about that. And I have my entitlements. So let's go back into Unity. Okay, so it looks like the build actually finished. So we can go into the build folder and double click the game. And the reason why I want to do this is that I want to make sure that it's working, that I don't have any bugs. Like say the game is up and running, and I can actually hit play and I can play the game. So game is working fine, so I'm just gonna close it. And we can go back into the process. So game is fine, I can just delete it. I don't need it anymore, so I'm just gonna go in and move it to our trash. Perfect. And I'm actually gonna close out of these windows and go back into player settings. And remember the option that we disabled. I want you to re-enable it because this is required by the Apple Store. So that now is enabled. We're going to start at 000, remember, because we are starting with version 6 and the build number is going to be 1.000. Okay, so everything looks fine. The version here needs to be updated to 1.06, and then my build number is going to start at 1.00. Perfect. So I think everything looks fine, and I'm going to go into build, and now we're going to be building the build that is going to go to the Mac App Store. Just hit save. And it's going to take a few minutes to do this, so I'm going to check a couple more things before we proceed. So let me go back into Visual Studio Code, and I'm just going to scan quickly on the SignGame. Let's make sure we have everything in there. And then the other thing that I need to do that I forgot to mention is we're going to need to download the application uploader for the App Store. So let me actually walk you through that process. So the next thing that we need to do is open Xcode. And we're going to use some of the tools that Xcode provides. So then in the Xcode toolbar, click on Xcode, open Developer Tool, and we're going to open the application loader. Then this is going to be our ID to log into the Apple Developer Portal. In my case, it's info@delmargames.com, and then my password. And I'm going to check keep me sign in and hit continue. So we're going to keep this open before we click on deliver your app. Perfect. So we were looking at the script, so we're going to have to run a script to sign the game. So if we do that, if we upload the game right now, it's not going to work because the game hasn't been signed. So I'm going to open the terminal, and I'm already in the location where I need to be, which is Mac Utilities. And I already look at the script, so everything should be ready to go. And I'm just simply going to click on, basically select SignGame.sh. And it's complaining about a few things. And let me see, cubics. Oh, I see what the problem is. We actually need to go back because yeah. And I'm going to go back one more time. Let's go into Mac Utilities. So right now, this is assuming that the game is in the same location where I'm running this from. So if you notice, I have copy embedded provisioning profile to the location of the app. So that's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Finder and open a couple of windows. And I'm going to grab my Cubics build, and we're going to put it in the same location where the script is. You're also more than welcome to modify the script. For now, I'm just going to keep it simple, and we can just move the game. I'm going to go Mac Utilities, and we're just simply going to drag and drop the game there. And let's move this window out, and I think everything should be fine. So I'm going to go again and just do SignGame. Now you can see that it's finding it found the contents. Looks like I didn't need to do the leave mono anymore. I'll make those changes in the script. And I need to type in my password. And I'll just say always allow. And it's packaging the game now. Looks like it finished the signing process. It allowed signing the last one. For some reason, it didn't find two of the other directories. And looks like I got an error because it couldn't find the appropriate signing third-party developer install Dilma Valecillo. So that is a common error. So I'm going to open the key change access. And honestly, I never said this process was easy. It honestly took me a long time to get it down. So I actually need to copy this entire thing. So look at third-party Mac developer application column. Make sure that it matches up. And I'm going to copy that, copy it here as well and paste it, and copy it here and paste it. And everything there should be just fine. Let's try it one more time. So I'm going to clear my log and I'm going to say sign. It's going to say replacing existing signature, adding component Cubics app, and cannot write project. Couldn't find the appropriate signing identity. Third-party Mac developer installer Dilma Valecillos. Oh, I see what's happening. And I actually made. Oh, I see where I didn't do it. So if you look in here, I needed to replace that in there as well. So I don't think I needed all this information. I didn't need the number that is after my name. So we're going to try this one more time. And everything else should be fine. Let's try it one more time. And the third one, if it doesn't work, then I guess we'll try something else. And it's adding component. Application enters required. Okay, I think I know where the problem is. So let's go back into account developer.apple account, and we're going to certificates, and we can go down to provisioning profiles, and I did a distribution, but I want to make sure that I select macOS. So if you remember, when it asked me to select the type, I selected Mac distribution. I'm going to try an app installer this time. So I'm just going to let's copy this name, and let's create a new one. And let's see, I'm going to go into Mac development, create Mac App Store. Yep, and then hit continue, and select Cubics. I don't think that's where the problem is. I'm going to go back into certificates. I think that this is where the problem is, where I did a Mac as distribution. Production. Let's do one new certificate. I'm going to select Mac App Store, just like we did before. And okay, this is where the problem was. I selected Mac App Distribution, and I haven't been able to get it working that way. Let's actually select Mac Installer Distribution. We'll hit continue. We'll select the same certificate that we selected before. We'll hit continue one more time. We'll do download. We'll install it. So now you can see that it says installer. So now let's go back into Visual Studio Code. And let me see what I did before. And I'm going to undo. I think everything else should be OK. And it's called third-party Mac developer installer. Third-party Mac developer installer, and then my name, and then the Mac application. Okay, so let's do it this way. We're going to sign it with the Mac developer application, and then we're going to do this product build command and then sign it with the installer. So we'll do a code sign here, and then we'll do the installer at the end. I think this is going to work, and I think all of that should be fine. Let's try it one more time. And adding component. In fact, I'm going to go into that directory, because if everything works, it should create a package for us. It looks like it works this time. It looks like it's adding the certificate Apple Worldwide, and we need to enter our password one more time. Always allow. And it looks like it wrote a product. And we can go and look at the product. Go back into that directory. Okay, here we go. So now what we need to do is open the application loader. Double click on deliver your app. We double click on our package and let it review the application. and info.plist indicates a Mac app by submitting an IPA. So this is a common error that I seen in the past. What I'm gonna do is actually, let me check to make sure that I have the right version. By submitting an IPA. Let me close. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna close out of the application and go back into Xcode. Go to the application loader one more time. And we're gonna double click on QBX. And you can see that it's crashing, and it's crashing because I honestly had issues with that version of the application loader. So I'm gonna open it again so that you can see which version works and which one doesn't work. So if we go to application loader, about application loader, so this is using version 3.7.2. I haven't been able to get that one to work for some reason. So what I'm going to show you is that I have a link to an older version, which I already have installed. So in the description of this video, I'll have that link so that you can download it as well. So I'm going to basically search for application loader. And I have the old version, which is version 3.0. So I'm going to open that up. And we can actually just click close out of Xcode. And I'm going to hit agree. And so now if I go to application loader, about application loader, you can see that this is version 3.0. I'm going to do exactly the same thing that I did before. So I'm going to go into QBX and let it run for just a few seconds. And looks like these work. And I have application QBX. This is our new version. Everything else looks fine. So I'm going to hit next and let it extract the archive. So it's going to do some checking, and if everything works well, it's going to upload it into the App Store Connect portal. Looks like it's copying media, authenticating with iTunes Store. All right, so it looks like this works. If I go next, it says, thank you, you have successfully added your application to the App Store. All right, guys, that's everything that I wanted to show you in this video. And hopefully all the information that I provided to you can give you more insight on what it takes to actually release a game made in Unity into the Mac App Store. So if you guys have any questions, let me know through the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and share this video. Thank you, guys.